Buongiorno wine lovers. Welcome to Wine by the Class, where we journey through the diverse and captivating world of regional Italian wines. Italy boasts a rich tapestry of terroirs, grape varietals, and winemaking traditions, from the rolling hills of Tuscany to the sun-drenched vineyards of Sicily. Join me as we uncork the stories behind these exceptional wines, exploring their unique characteristics, food pairings, and the passionate people who craft them. Prepare your palate for an unforgettable experience as we delve into the heart of Italian wine country, one region at a time. Our wine expert, Anthony Vidoni, will guide us. He is a passionate and knowledgeable Italian wine expert with over 50 years of experience, the author of several books, and a deep appreciation for Italy's rich history and diverse wines. Please join me in welcoming Anthony, who will be our guide on this vinous adventure.
And we're going to be leaving northeastern Italy at this point and heading down to the area of Emilia Romagna. I say the same thing over and over again. I always tell you this region is my favorite. This region has so much wonder, et cetera, et cetera. But I really have to exaggerate the importance of Emilia Romagna. I think many Americans go to Rome, Florence, and Venice. Well, I think it's easy, especially if you're taking a train, whether you're driving or taking the train, it's just as easy. When you leave Florence to get to Venice, spend a day in Bologna, in Emilia Romagna, okay? Because there's an awful lot that this area offers. First of all, they call it the Food Valley. It's the Pianura Padana. It's the Po Valley. And it's between the mountains of the north. There are some hills in this area as well, which we'll speak about. And then the Apennines that go south. And it covers almost the entire breadth of Italy. Emilia Romagna, one side is in the Adriatic. The other side is only a few miles from the Mediterranean Sea. So you have all the regions in the north, then you have Emilia Romagna, which is the last region in the north, and then we get into Tuscany and Umbria and Marche, which is more central Italy. So I think you should spend some time going to Emilia Romagna. It borders Lombardy, Veneto, Liguria, Piedmont, Tuscany, and Marche, and also has within its confines the Republic of San Marino. It's a very interesting area. The major city is Bologna, which is sort of in the center of Emilia Romagna, but there are other famous cities as well. And it's a railroad hub, so it's very easy to get there from Florence or from Venice or from wherever you are. Okay? And it's also a university town. The oldest university in the world is University of Bologna, was founded in 1088. Of course, that was before Italy was founded. Italy was founded as a country in the 1860s. So the culture of Bologna goes very far back. Okay, it's called the Alma Mater Studiorum. It's the nurturing mother of studies. Well worth your investigation. And when I start to go over the foods, I think this is going to ring a lot of bells with you, because Italy's most famous cheese is Parmigiano Reggiano, Parmesan cheese. Parmigiano Reggiano comes from the area of Reggiano, the Reggio Emilia area, okay? And well worth your investigation. Prosciutto di Parma, Parma ham, as the British call it. Parma is another town, like Reggio Emilia and Parma, just a little northeast of Bologna, in the area called Emilia. See, it's a hyphenated region. Area east of Bologna is called Romagna. We'll talk about that. When you are there, you may want to go to Modena. Modena is very famous, not only for Pavarotti, who's one of its greatest citizens ever, but also for aceto balsamico, the balsamic vinegar, which is such an international product. There's also balsamic vinegar from Reggio Emilia, which is not far from Modena. Uh, Mortadella, which actually bologna, that's mortadella, is a special ham with uh, with pepper, black pepper, and also pistachio nuts. Okay, so you'll find all of these things. Pastas. What pasta shapes are important? Capelletti, tortelli, tortellini. Okay, you may enjoy them. I'll tell you about an obscure pasta which you probably won't get outside of Emilia Romagna. It's called ortica, and ortica. It's really interesting. To show you how the people work in this area. Uh, it's made from a almost a poison ivy. From you pick these green plants, the ortica plants called nettle, nettle, and you boil the ortica plant, and you get a boiled mixture that can be good for helping if you have a cold or if you don't feel well. But then you take the solid greens, which you make it into pasta. Okay, and this is called ortica, and it's something that they specialize in the area. There's another cheese in the area called formaggio in fossa. It's a cow or sheep cheese uh, uh, that is put into caves or sometimes buried. Formaggio in fossa means the cheese in a ditch, okay? And it picks up a lot of pungent character for being buried. And it's usually unearthed or taken out of the cave in the fall season. It's a seasonal cheese. And these are some of the specialties of Emilia Romagna. But the most famous specialties are Parmigiano Reggiano, prosciutto di Parma, aceto balsamica from Modena. Also, mortadella, which is called bologna by the British. It's a wonderful area to eat, and I think you should stop there on your way from Venice to Florence or from Florence to Venice. Okay, the wines are deserve more attention, okay? And I'll be speaking about those wines after I tell you one of the most famous brandies from Italy comes from Bologna. It's called Vecchia Romagna, and you'll find it on every back bar, every Italian restaurant, every little wine shop throughout Italy, okay? And to speak about the wines, one of the nicest white wines of Italy is Pignoletto. And I'll teach you a little Italian poem, which I hope you enjoy. Very short, and here goes. It'll be anticlimax because it's not that great, but I think it's cute and I think I should tell you about it. Mortadella e Pignoletto, matrimonio perfetto. So if you take mortadella, which is like the bologna, and Pignoletto wine, nice, light, aromatic white wine, it's a perfect marriage, okay? It's very hard to find Pignoletto wines. One of the problems we have with the wines of Emilia Romagna is not many of them are marketed in the United States. And this is unfortunate because there are very good wines. From the area of Emilia, from the hills in Piacenza, there's a wine called Guturnio. It's a red wine, goes back to Roman times. Romans had a wine from this area called Guturnium. Okay, so it's a Barbera Croatina blend, and it's just been given a special DOC. There's a Superiore uh, Guturnium, which reaches 12.5% alcohol, which receives an alcohol of 13%, and it's aged for up to 24 months. So this is a wine that you may see in the next couple of years in the United States. We used to have it, but then it fell out of fashion, and I think it's going to make a comeback. Guturnio, okay? One white wine that's worth mentioning is Albana di Romagna, sometimes called Romagna Albana, Romagna Albana. And Albana was the nickname of a Roman princess going back to the 5th century AD. Her name was Galla Placidia, and she had long blonde hair, and Albana means white. The grape clusters are extremely long and very light in color. And Galla Placidia was the daughter of the Emperor Theodosius. And again, the wine is named after her. The Albana grape is a sugar factory. It ripens and becomes very, very rich and makes wonderful dessert wines. To make a dry Albana, you have to anticipate the harvest. Pick the grapes before they are completely mature, okay? And that will produce an Albana Romagna Secco, okay? There's also an Albana di Wheat. Literally, amabile means lovable. The term when it brown and soft. Then there's an Albana di Romagna Dolce. And I haven't seen much of this around in the marketplace. It's sweeter than the amabile. Pasito is where Albana di Romagna made from dried grapes, houses out in the vineyard area. Okay, there's even a Pasito Reserva. And I think if you find an Albana di Romagna Pasito, you'll be getting one of the greatest dessert wines in all of Italy. I was fortunate to work with the Opici Wine Company, and in the 1980s, in fact, in 1988, Opici and I went to Italy, and we were in search of an Albana di Romagna because Albana di Romagna had just been elevated to being a DOCG wine, which is the highest classification of wines in Italy under Italian law, was the first white DOCG wine, okay? And we were able to find a wonderful producer, winery family owned of Umberto Cesari. And I could go several sessions just telling you about the Umberto Ciao. But at any rate, he was a fine producer of Albana di Romagna. So with the 1987 vintage, we introduced Albana di Romagna to the United States. We introduced the dry version. Eventually, we introduced also the Pasito, the dessert version made from dried grapes. Okay? And in addition to Umberto Cesari's Albana di Romagna, we also introduced a Sangiovese di Romagna Reserva, which is made from 100% Sangiovese grapes, actually 85%. They can blend some other things in there. And this is the one wine from Emilia Romagna, one of the wines from Emilia Romagna you may be able to find in a store. I found this one, Romagna Sangiovese Reserva, and it's from, interesting, I think point this out as an exercise for you, it's from Collina dei Lecci, and they are a producer of Brunello di Montalcino in Tuscany, but they also bottle a Romagna Sangiovese Reserva. So it shows you that certain wines, especially DOC wines, can be bottled outside of the zone of production. Okay, that's something very common in Italy. They receive wine at their winery in tanker trucks and bottle it at the winery. So the source of this wine are Sangiovese grapes in Romagna, in eastern Emilia Romagna, but then the grapes and all the wines are trucked to the winery in Montalcino, and that's how this one is made. Umberto Cesari's Sangiovese the Romagna Reserva is produced and bottled in the zone of production Romagna Reserva. And I have an assignment for you. Take the Sangiovese di Romagna Reserva and taste it against the Chianti, a Chianti Reserva, Chianti Classico Reserva, and see what differences you're able to perceive, because the geographic area where the wines come from will be different. different. And the aging process might be different as well. So it's very nice to have combines go with. They're perfect with steaks. Okay. Chianti Classico Reserva, Chianti Reserva, uh, Romagna Reserva, Sangiovese all go well with red meats, especially. Okay? Sangiovese di Romagna Reserva, to be a Reserva, must be aged a minimum of 24 months, much of which is in oak. Okay? So saving the most interesting, to me, the most interesting for last, because we're going to be speaking about Lambrusco. And Lambrusco is very popular worldwide. It used to be extremely popular in the United States. Lambrusco is a wild grape variety, grew wild. There are over 60 varieties of Lambrusco grapes. We'll talk about that a little bit, not getting too technical about it, but it's most famous for making a wine that's lighter in alcohol and has a little bit of a fizz to it. It has a frizzante to it. And it's made like a light sparkling wine, what the French call the Charmat method. The Italians call it the Martinotti method. Martinotti was the one that developed this tank fermentation of sparkling wines, and then Charmat patented the idea, and so we know this frizzante method mostly as Charmat, the Charmat process, as opposed to the champagne method, where the bubbles come from being aged in a specific bottles rather than in a large fermentation tank. Usually, a Lambrusco will have ancellota added to it for color, and maybe some cab or marzimino added to it for body and structure. It may be made secco, which is dry, amabile, which is again lovable, or off dry, little sweet, or downright dolce. Okay, and I have bottles to show you. This is from a very fine producer of Lambrusco, Cleto Chiarli Figli. Okay, very good producer from around Modena, from the Modena area, same area where they produce aceto balsamico, the balsamic vinegar, and well worth your investigation. I'll give you a brief 5-minute history of Lambrusco. Lambrusco was very popular in the 1980s, and I drank a lot of Lambrusco in the 1980s. The dominant brand was Riunite, and they're trying to relaunch themselves now. But back in the 80s and in the 90s, Lambrusco wine was responsible for selling 13 million cases in America. It was extremely popular. And Riunite had the lion's share, over 11.5 million cases of Riunite Lambrusco. Eventually, they added a white and a rosé, and finally came in with different flavored Lambruscos, peach flavored, etc. Okay, but it was an age. This is the age I grew up with wines. Okay, there were Portuguese rosés, Lancers, and Matus. There was sangria. Okay, also extremely popular. The brand of Yago Sangria was extremely popular at that time. Okay. Again, Lambrusco is considered to be the most joyous of Italian sparkling wines. It's very good with charcuterie boards. We had mentioned that earlier. And try it with a bolognese sauce. It has good acidity, good crispness. It's low in alcohol. Goes extremely well with fatty food, especially. And I think you'll enjoy it. There is some Lambrusco planted in Argentina and Australia. I'm not aware of any that's grown in California, but most of the Lambrusco throughout the world comes from Emilia Romagna. That's the calling card for Lambrusco. And the last thing I'll mention to you is that if you get a chance to go to Emilia Romagna, go east a little bit around the town of Forlì, Forli. It's famous because that's where Mussolini was from. He was from Forlì. Uh, there was also the writer of the first Italian cookbook, who was named Pellegrino Artusi. You can still buy his cookbook today, and it's about the cuisine. Okay, so I think this area is extremely important for food, should be more important for wine, and is well worth your visit. Bologna is a city you have to visit. One last story about Bologna was when McDonald's opened up in Bologna, the people of the area insisted that they put in tortellini salad. So if you want a nice tortellini salad, go to the McDonald's, which is right downtown in Bologna. And that's all I really want to say about Emilia Romagna. And I'm looking forward to heading south into the central Italy area of Tuscany, Umbria, and Marche, and then we'll work our way even south of there. So again, I hope you enjoy drinking some of the wines of Emilia Romagna and some of the other regions that we talked about, and hundreds of grape varieties are available in America. There may be as many as 2,000 varietals from Italy. Don't let Italy confuse you. It's nice to try different wines all the time and see what they have to offer. And when you have the possibility, like the Sangiovese, to try it with wines from other regions, go ahead and do it. And give me your evaluation of it, especially when you get to Sauvignon Blanc or Cabernet Sauvignon or Merlot. It's interesting to taste the Italian versions with the versions from France, from California, from the southern hemisphere in New Zealand and in Australia as well. Comparative tastings is what it's all about. Okay, so we'll see you next time when we get to central Italy. Enjoy your time, have good wines. It's an important part of the meal. I can't imagine having a nice meal without wine. Okay, so thanks very much for your attention. Ciao, ciao.